The purpose of this video is to go over the solutions for what would be worksheet 23 for pre-AP or worksheet 28 for on-level. It's the same content, just different numbers. This was given as an example as a homework head start, and now that it's been turned in and you've been able to get some feedback on it, I'll go ahead and show you how I would solve all of mine. For the two on the bottom, first I see that 12 is being subtracted from the variable. What's being done, 2e is subtracting 12. To undo that, you would need to do the inverse, which is add 12. For the second one, when they're touching and it's a variable and a coefficient, that means they are multiplied together. What's being done is multiply by 8. To undo that, you would do the inverse, which is divide by 8. For the work, you would get credit for having your two T-charts. This would be a check, and this would ordinarily be a check. You get credit for showing the algebra work. So I'm going to show adding 12 on the left-hand side of the equal sign. Those cancel. And adding 12 on the right-hand side. You would get credit for showing that on both sides of the equal sign. The plan to undo was divide by 8. I'm going to write my division like a fraction. Those would cancel one another out. And then I would do 568 divided by 8, which is 71 for the value of h and 16 for the value of e. So far, credit here, credit here, credit here for showing those steps, more credit for the correct solution, credit for the algebra work, more credit for the correct solution, and then there would be a fourth check for the checking process using substitution. So I've written both the original equations. I'll substitute my value of 16 and my value of 71, and then I'll rewrite the entire equation and work through it just to verify that I get a true statement. I know that 16 minus 12 is in fact 4. Proof that 16 was the correct answer. And 71 times 8 is in fact 568. Proving that 71 was the correct solution. Moving to what would be the back. We'll go through and check all of these first. What's being done to the variable is adding 5. To undo that, you would have to subtract 5. What's being done to the variable, the v, is subtracting 6. To undo that, do the inverse, which is add 6. For the third one, if they're touching, that means that g is being multiplied by the coefficient 6. To undo that, the inverse would be division. For the final one, the fraction can also mean division, so the p is being divided by 3. To undo that, do the inverse, which is multiply by 3. These would give you credit for each problem. And then I'm going to go through and show my undo steps on all of them using the algebra notation. I also find it really satisfying to cross off the items that are canceling so that my eyes can better focus on just seeing the variable remaining and focused on the 14 minus 5, which would be 9. Bring down the v, and 5 plus 6 is 11. Bring down the g, 30 divided by 6 would be 5. Bring down the p, and 8 times 3 is 24. So you would have more credit here, 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 and here. And then a third thing to be checked for the correct solution. And then finally, the substituting and verifying that your solution is in fact correct. I'm just rewriting every single equation. And then I plan to work through the left sides again to make sure that they really do equal what's on the right-hand side. 9 plus 5 is truly 14. 11 minus 6 is truly 5. 6 times 5 is 30. 24 divided by 3 is 8. If we were grading this as we would grade in class, here's where you would be getting your credit. 1, 2, 3, 4 checks, 4, 8, 12, 16 checks, 20 checks, 24 checks, and they would be 4 points each if we were grading in class. Just to let you know, future algebra assignments will be graded the same way. We can't put the grades on Hack yet, but I'll go ahead and give you a grade so you can see how you're doing numerically out of 100, as well as feedback also, but they can't be put online yet, not until somebody important tells us to. So for now, it's just practicing and it's learning from mistakes and it's improving, moving forward into other algebra assignments. Hope it was helpful to see everything worked through and explained. Sorry that it can't be live in person, but hopefully through the video and through personal comments on Google Classroom, you're getting the feedback that you need. And if you're not, please ask for more clarification.